What are the top 5 strongest versions of Spider-Man? Now, admittedly, this list could be a bit off in regards to 4 and 5. There might be other ridiculously powerful versions of Spider-Man. However, I think the top 3 is pretty solidified. Coming in at number 5 is Zombie Spider-Man. Now, I know this doesn't sound extremely impressive, and believe me, when I first saw him, I didn't even give him a second thought. However, thank you to the Night Spider and the Dark Detective, they convinced me to take a look. And he's busted. Like, busted. I know what you're thinking. It's just a zombie version of Spider-Man. He might even be weaker than the normal one. Yeah, him along with a lot of other people ate Galactus, like, fully consumed him, and then even gained his powers. Given the fact that there are 6 people there, Spider-Man is one of them, lowballing, you could say that he is 1/6 of Galactus' power. It's also referenced earlier in the comic that they also were responsible for eating the Silver Surfer. And I don't mean turning them into zombies, I mean actually eating them and gaining their powers. So fairly powerful, like really powerful. Coming in at number 4, we have Phoenix Force Spider-Man, which, I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't really have that many feats. However, he does have the Phoenix Force, which should put him astronomically high. Before we quickly jump any further, I want to give an honorable mention to Ghost Spider, who is a version of Spider-Man that has a spirit of vengeance. Naturally, with the Ghost Rider's powers, he's going to be extremely powerful. However, he's largely featless again, and I would definitely say that a Phoenix Force amp is greater than a Spirit of Vengeance amp, as none of the Ghost Riders at all in any way are as powerful as Johnny Blaze. Like, none of them even come close. However, you could definitely say that he's like number 6. Alright, here's the big one. Number 3 is Cosmic Spider-Man, a version of Spider-Man that everyone believes is the most powerful. However, Cosmic Spider-Man's scaling is so difficult, and it's incredibly frustrating to understand and actually quantify how powerful he could be. This is because of the fact that this is just Spider-Man with Captain Universe's power. And Captain Universe isn't actually necessarily a character, rather an entity. An entity stated by Spider-Man himself to give the user that desires it most the amount of power that is required to take down their current situation and their current enemy. So does this mean that Cosmic Spider-Man can just beat anybody? Of course not. Now we need to find the upper limits of Captain Universe's power to determine how powerful Cosmic Spider-Man would be. We know that he's capable of yeeting Thor into orbit and trading blows with him and overpowering him for the most part. We know he is a great deal stronger than the average Spider-Man. I feel like that one didn't even need to be said. That he can manipulate the very molecules of everything. But these feats don't really put him that high. Again, beating Thor, a lot of people can do that, so it's difficult to pinpoint how powerful he would be. So what we need to do is take a look at other Captain Universe characters and see how powerful they are to find the upper limit. We know that Sue Storm with the powers of Captain Universe is easily able to one-shot the Gladiator, which is impressive. However, again, it does not show an upper limit. A fight that I do think could potentially indicate an upper limit to Captain Universe's power is his fight against the Silver Surfer, in which the two fought extremely relative, with Captain Universe having the slight edge. This Captain Universe powered up character didn't immediately one-shot Silver Surfer like he has been shown to do to other threats, so normally we would say that his cap is around Silver Surfer. However, later on in the comic, Captain Universe then rejects him and gives his power to someone else to stop him. So we know that it is probably vastly above Silver Surfer. However, with a base value, we know that it's towards the upper limit of Captain Universe's power, if that makes sense. So Cosmic Spider-Man is number 3. Number 2 can be no one else in my mind other than Nexus Spider-Man. Huge shout out to Midget, as he is essentially given life to this version of Spider-Man in the comic book community, and all of these scans are going to be from his video on him, so please check that out. We know that Skreer drew power from the Nexus, and potentially Toa himself. However, the creator has multiple meanings, and there are multiple people within Marvel that could be considered the creator of the multiverse, that being Eternity, the Living Tribunal, above all others, etc. This statement is, to say the least, ambiguous. We know that Skreer was able, once he tapped into the Nexus, to manipulate all planes of reality. I talked about the Marvel cosmology, and if you want to lowball and say that this only reaches up to deep space, then this would at bare minimum equate to around high hyperversal to low outerversal. However, it may also contain the superflow, as Skreer with this power was stated to be able to beat up gods way beyond that of all reality. However, he offers them a deal, saying if his henchman wins, he wins. If Peter wins, they win. His henchman becomes the Nexus itself. Peter does the same, and their clash affects all realities. The fact that they are definitely inaccessibly above deep space is further supported by this scan. It's important to note that Spider-Man is not able to hold us up for long. However, he does eventually grow more powerful than the henchman and defeats him. Several multiverses do end up being destroyed. However, as a whole, he absolutely scales to the Nexus. People have called this version of Peter Power of Love Spider-Man, which is kind of a stupid name. I think Nexus or Nexus of All Realities Spider-Man is a much better name for Spider-Man. But hey, if you want to call him Power of Love Spider-Man, knock yourself out. And at number 1, I have the Beyonder Spider-Man. I know that I slander the Beyonder a lot, but my opinion is slowly changing of him. We know that in a freak accident caused by Dr. Doom, that both Peter and the Wolverine gain the powers and abilities of the Beyonder. This is backed up by the fact that Peter does everything that the Beyonder does just as casually, easily capable of one-shotting Galactus and Ultron. It might even be supported that he's stronger than the Beyonder because he one-shots Molecule Man as well. However, this is more up for debate, as Molecule Man pre-retcon is obviously a lot stronger than post-retcon Molecule Man. So you argue in the comments with that. That was just me supplying a little bit of information about Beyonder Spider-Man maybe even being over the Beyonder. He also has matter manipulation as well, and it's to a much higher degree than Cosmic Spider-Man. And that is my list for the top 5 strongest versions of Spider-Man. Number 5, we have Zombie Spider-Man, or more accurately, Galactus Spider-Man. Number 4, we have the Phoenix Spider-Man. Number 3 goes to Cosmic Spider-Man. 2 is the Nexus Spider-Man. And number 1, pretty easily in my opinion, is the Beyonder Spider-Man. Let me know if you have any contentions with this, and let me know a few other versions of Spider-Man, because I would like for 4 and 5 to be a little bit more powerful. However, if this is all that he has, then it's still fairly impressive. I definitely say that the Beyonder Spider-Man would scale a few layers and outer at the bare minimum. Same thing with the Nexus Spider-Man. Cosmic Spider-Man doesn't really have great scaling, and you could argue maybe high hyper to low outer. And then the other 2 are really just unquantifiable, but you could also argue them within that hyper range. And that's all I got. Later, random citizens.